How did a game played in small gyms evolve into the global phenomenon we know today? The evolution of the NBA is nothing short of extraordinary. From underhand free throws to jaw-dropping dunks and three-point shootouts, the transformation of the sport is mind-blowing. Join us as we explore the insane evolution of the sport of basketball. The story of basketball starts in 1891 when James Naismith came up with a new sport to keep athletes in shape during the winter months. He called it basketball. Yeah, it was originally 2 words. The early days of hoops were very different from what we see now, with many quirky aspects that might surprise you. Naismith initially had 13 rules of basketball that were quite different from today's game. Players weren't allowed to dribble or run with the ball. They had to pass it from where they caught it. The game featured 2 15-minute periods, unlike the NBA's 4 12-minute quarters or college basketball's 2 20-minute halves. Halftime lasted just 5 minutes. Back then, there was no set rules for team size. Early games were played with 9 players on each side because 18 students attended Naismith's class. By 1897, the standard was set at 5 players per team, which remains today. When it came to substitutions, they were once strictly limited. A player who left the game couldn't return. This changed in 1920, allowing re-entry once, then twice by 1934. By 1945, players could return to the game an unlimited number of times, as is the case today. Another great evolution happened with the basketball goals that were originally peach baskets or 18-inch square boxes hung from balconies, with a standard height of 10 feet established early on. These baskets were later replaced by heavy wire rims in 1892 and cast iron rims in 1893. Open-ended nylon nets were introduced in 1912, allowing the ball to fall freely through the hoop, speeding up the game. When it comes to the actual balls that were used in the game, the first basketball games used soccer balls. These balls were understandably not ideal for dribbling. In 1894, the first basketballs were manufactured, and by the late 1890s, Spalding became the official ball maker. Early basketballs were brown leather with laces, difficult to dribble, and couldn't maintain their shape. In 1929, basketballs were redesigned for better bounce, with concealed laces. By 1942, molded basketballs replaced stitched ones, and the iconic red, white, and blue ABA ball was introduced in 1967. Today, basketballs have evolved with specific designs for men's and women's games. The first major basketball league in history was the National Basketball League, or NBL. Established in 1898 in Philadelphia, this league brought together teams from surrounding areas to compete. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. It disbanded in 1904 after just 6 years, never managing to grow beyond 10 teams. As basketball continued to grow, one of the first big events that really put the sport on the map was the first NCAA tournament in 1939. This championship game was played between Oregon and Ohio State, with Oregon taking home the win with a score of 46-33. This event laid the foundation for college basketball to become a major part of the sport's history. In 1946, basketball changed forever with the creation of the Basketball Association of America, or BAA. This league would eventually become what we know today as the NBA. Founded in New York, it started with 11 teams, already more than most of the previous basketball leagues had ever imagined. This era introduced basketball's first superstar, George Mikan. Mikan was a true pioneer of the game, playing for the Minneapolis Lakers and leading them to 5 championships. He averaged 23 points and 13 rebounds per game throughout his career, setting the standard for future NBA greats and helping to establish the NBA as a legitimate and popular sports league. He's just one of many players who have left a lasting impression on the sport. One of the most significant changes in basketball history came in 1954 with the introduction of the 24-second shot clock. Before this rule, basketball was often a slow-paced, low-scoring game. Teams could hold on to the ball for as long as they wanted. which sometimes led to drawn-out, uneventful games. The shot clock changed all that. Now teams only had 24 seconds to attempt a shot, forcing them to play faster and make decisions quickly. This rule transformed the game into the fast-paced, high-scoring spectacle that fans love today. It added a new level of excitement and urgency to the game. The late 1950s were a turning point in the NBA, as two of the most legendary players in the history of the game entered the league: Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. Bill Russell was like the captain of a winning team. He could stop anyone from scoring and was always there to help his teammates. He led his team to win a bunch of championships, teaching everyone that working together was the key to victory. Wilt Chamberlain was a different kind of star. He was super strong and could score points like crazy. But it wasn't just about scoring for him. His amazing skills changed how people played basketball. These two superstars were like night and day. Russell was all about teamwork and defense, while Chamberlain was a scoring machine. But together, they made basketball more exciting and pushed the game to a whole new level. What they did back then still matters today. Basketball players now try to be like them. Some focus on being great teammates like Russell, while others want to score lots of points like Chamberlain. These two legends created a path for every basketball star that came after them. In 1967, a new league burst onto the scene and quickly gained a loyal following: the American Basketball Association, or ABA. The ABA brought a fresh, exciting style of play that captured the attention of basketball fans. It also introduced the world to some of the greatest players in basketball history, like Dr. J and Moses Malone. Despite its popularity, the ABA struggled financially and was forced to merge with the NBA after just 10 years. Only 4 ABA teams made the transition into the NBA: the Denver Nuggets, Indiana Pacers, New Jersey Nets, and San Antonio Spurs. Around the same time the ABA was making waves, one of basketball's all-time greats entered the NBA. In 1969, Lou Alcindor, who would later change his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was drafted into the league. Kareem quickly made his mark, introducing the skyhook, a shot so unstoppable that it became his signature move. Over his career, Kareem dominated the league, becoming the NBA's all-time leading scorer, a record he held for decades. His impact on the game was profound, as he not only set scoring records, but also helped to redefine what it meant to be a big man in basketball. In 1979, the NBA introduced a major change that sparked a lot of debate: the three-point line. At first, many people were skeptical and unsure if it would fit into the game. To test the waters, the NBA decided to try it out for just one season to see how players and fans would react. Little did they know, this addition would revolutionize basketball forever. The three-point line has not only stayed in the game, but it also became a defining feature of modern basketball. Players have adapted so well to shooting from long range that there's even been talk about introducing a four-point line to shake things up even more. What do you think about that idea? Interestingly, the same year the three-point line was added, the NBA also saw the beginning of one of its greatest rivalries: Larry Bird of the Boston Celtics versus Magic Johnson of the Los Angeles Lakers. Throughout the 1980s, their intense matchups redefined NBA history, with Bird winning 3 championships and Magic securing 5. Beyond the court, their rivalry revitalized the struggling NBA, drawing global attention and helping save the league from financial ruin. Bird and Magic's impact cemented their legacy as two of the most influential players in basketball history. While the Bird versus Magic rivalry drew fans in, it was a special player named Michael Jordan who truly transformed the game. Michael Jordan, widely considered the greatest basketball player ever, revolutionized the NBA with his unmatched intensity and skill. His dominance in the 80s and 90s, leading the Chicago Bulls to 2 sets of 3 consecutive championships, marked the golden age of basketball. Jordan's influence extended beyond his 6 championships, setting the standard for greatness and making him a global icon. In 1992, the Dream Team, featuring Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird showcased the NBA's best talent at the Olympics, dominating the competition and elevating basketball's global appeal. The 90s also introduced legends like Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and Tim Duncan, who continued to make the decade one of the most exciting in basketball history. In the 2003 NBA Draft, the most anticipated prospect of all time entered the league with his hometown team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. His name was LeBron James. Not since Jordan has someone truly redefined what it meant to be an all-around player. He has become a global icon, both on and off the court. Until 2009, the three-pointer was a useful tool, but it wasn't the main focus of any team's offense. That all changed when Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, was drafted. Curry's incredible shooting range and accuracy revolutionized the game, making the three-point shot a central part of modern basketball. Some people argue that Curry is the most influential player ever, and it's easy to see why. His style of play has transformed how teams approach the game, leading to higher scoring and more dynamic offenses. Curry's influence helped create one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history, the Golden State Warriors. From 2014 to the present day, the Warriors have dominated the league, winning 4 championships and setting the record for the best regular season record ever. Key players like Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Draymond Green have all played crucial roles in this incredible run. Now, let's fast forward to present-day basketball, where we still see legends like LeBron James and Stephen Curry dominating the court, but alongside them, a new generation of stars is emerging. Players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, and Ja Morant are ready to take the reins and lead the next era of the game. Did you know basketball had such a rich and storied history? Which change in the game surprised you the most? And which legend first drew you into the sport? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. We can't wait to see what you think.